Alright, team, so we were back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy, and more than 2 weeks ago, Square Enix launched a 35th anniversary website for the Final Fantasy series, which I've known about for a little bit. I've been wanting to make a video and talk about it for a little while, but again, as always, other videos come up and that I feel are more important. What I will say, however, is I don't remember who all commented about the website, but at the time, I wasn't aware of it. So shout out to the people who were letting your boy know about some stuff, because whenever I research for like videos and stuff, it's usually just about Final Fantasy 7. Now, we talk about other stuff here and there as well. But generally speaking, I'm trying to talk about FF7 as much as I can, so I actually wasn't aware that this website existed until people commented about it. As of right now, the website itself isn't super interesting. There is a message from Kitase, which I guess we'll probably read here in a second. But in terms of games right now, the only thing on the website is Stranger Paradise and Chocobo GP. Like, they're the only games under the new title section. If you actually go to the news section of the website, it's just those games as well. Which I did find to be a little bit weird, because there are multiple other Final Fantasy projects out there, upcoming and ones that are currently out, like for one, for Soldier. Like, obviously that game came out last year, but it's going to be constantly updated, so you'd think they'd make a section on this website for that, for future updates for that game. Ever Crisis also has a trailer. It's supposed to come out sometime this year. It's kind of weird that it's not on the website. Same thing with 16. 16's had a trailer for a while now. And they're supposed to be talking about it sometime soon, within the spring, right? So you think they'd have a 16 section, brief synopsis of the game, maybe a link to the trailer. Like, yeah, these are games we've known about for a while now, but they're still new titles. You think they'd be in that section of the website, because they're not out yet. They're coming out sometime this year or later. And it's been a little bit since we mentioned a video, so we'll mention it again here. Where's Ever Crisis? What are we doing? We're about to roll into April, and we still have nothing for that game. It's supposed to come out sometime this year, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I'm looking forward to it more than I feel like I should be. Like, it's just a retelling of the Final Fantasy VII story, which we've all played a shit ton at this point, right? But something about it is appealing to me. I love the art style, but I love how when you go into battle, it's like looks like Remake and shit like that. Plus, there's gonna be new shit, like the new chapter with something with First Soldier, and then we'll get to play other parts of the compilation, but also we get to play Advent Children, which I think is pretty cool. Like, that's gonna be made into like a playable game segment. So like, there's just so much about it that is interesting. So I'm kind of anticipating it, man. I just wish they'd say something, man. Like, Square Enix just doesn't talk about shit. It's frustrating. Now, in the new title section on the website, there is an "and more" at the bottom, but it's just text. Like, you can't click it. It doesn't do anything, so I think it's just kind of a placeholder. Maybe they're going to add these games and stuff in the future. I mean, obviously they're going to add stuff in the future. That's the point of the goddamn website. But as of right now, the "and more" is just visual. Now, at the bottom of the homepage, below the social media stuff, it does say "coming soon." This could mean at least two things. For one, maybe just future content. It's saying "coming soon" as in the other shit that they're going to release on the website eventually. Or it could also mean that the website's not fully launched, because as we just talked about, there's other games out there that should be on the website that aren't, and the fact that it says "coming soon." Maybe this is sort of like a soft launch of the website, which is why it's so bare bones and there's only a couple games on there and barely anything, really. Now, why we're talking about this at all is because obviously in the future this website's going to be very important. It's going to have a lot of information for the upcoming games, like 16, for example. Once they start talking about that, you're going to have a lot of the info here. What I'm not sure of is if there's going to be exclusive stuff here, because generally whenever information comes out for a new Square Enix game, new Final Fantasy game, whatever it is, they have it on their main site, like the SquareEnix.com, right? There'll be articles and stuff and news sections and all that other shit, and they talk about it. Same thing with Remake. Whenever Remake came out, and anytime new information came out, new screenshots, new trailers, whatever, it was on their main site. So I'm wondering what the point of this website actually is. Maybe it's just to like curate Final Fantasy stuff, if maybe that's all you're interested in, which kind of is the case with me. Like, I don't really care about all the other random shit that's coming out from Square Enix all the time. Like, I'm just here for Final Fantasy, specifically 7/Remake, and obviously a new numbered entry is always going to interest me. So I'm wondering if they're going to use this website to sort of like break information. So when they next talk about 16, for example, like, are they going to do it here? Like, are they going to release an article on this website that talks about 16, maybe have a trailer on this website? Or is the plan to like talk about 16 or reveal 16 with like some sort of upcoming event, like a state of play or something? I don't know. I don't know what all is coming up right now. You guys would know that more than me. Is there like a Square Enix Presents anytime soon? Like, what's happening right now, my dudes? Let me know. But also in regards to Remake Part 2, Kitase did say during that 25th anniversary livestream at the like end of January or whatever that they want to talk about Part 2 sometime this year, sometime within the next year. So obviously once the ball gets rolling on that and they start talking about Part 2, it'll also be on this website. So that's again another reason why we're making this video. So it would be nice once they start breaking information for like 16 and Remake Part 2 that we have a website we can go to that's directly about Final Fantasy. But also even putting those upcoming games aside, like, there's got to be something else this website's for, right? Like, those games are huge, those games are big, they're going to do well, but like, there's got to be a reason they're making an entire website for the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy. So I'm kind of curious what else is going to come out in the future. I almost forgot to read Kitase's message, so we'll do that really quickly. 5/30, 7/25, 11/20. What do you think these numbers mean? They're actually the anniversaries of Final Fantasy titles this year. Every year, a number of titles celebrate their anniversaries, but if you think about it, so many from one series lining up in such a way is pretty unusual. This is only possible because of the long-lasting, passionate support for each game in the Final Fantasy series from fans like you. Thank you so much. And this year, the Final Fantasy series itself celebrates its 35th anniversary. We'll continue to work hard making each Final Fantasy game one that you will remember for a long time to come. Wow, man, I'm out of breath over here, guys. I'm dying. The Final Fantasy 35th site will support new releases, sharing info on upcoming titles and merchandise. Hope you're excited for what's on the way for Final Fantasy. So actually, before Katase's message, I didn't realize there was that many games celebrating like a major anniversary this year. Every game has an anniversary every year, but the fact that there's 3 titles that have an anniversary that ends in 5 or 0 is kind of a big deal. But also the fact that the series itself is celebrating a big milestone this year as well is pretty interesting. There's a lot of things lining up this year, so I do think that there is some big plans for this website going forward. I've also seen some discussion about a possible 35th anniversary event sometime this year. Now, there was a fake shit out there. We're not talking about that. Just in general, the idea of them doing something for a 35th anniversary, which wouldn't be surprising. They had an exhibition for the 30th anniversary, 4 to 5 years ago, which we talked about back then. That's how long your boy's been doing this. We've been here since day one, since Remake got revealed. So for them to do something for the 30th anniversary, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something else as well for the 35th anniversary. Back then, it was like an art exhibition they did, and they had stuff from all the games, but of course they had stuff for FF7, but they actually gave us our first look at some key art and shit for Remake, and it was actually our first look at Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. So maybe they do something like that again sometime this year. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe give us our first look at some shit from Part 2. Who knows? But of course, my dudes, that's going to be pretty much the video. So we definitely need to keep our eyes on this website because it'll be important soon, hopefully. 16 should be talked about relatively soon. And once that starts happening, that's when the website will probably get a lot of traction to it and they'll really start using it for shit going forward. Other than my dudes, that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't able to do more Final Fantasy 35th anniversary news, I guess. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT, and my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain or leave it like Cobain.